Wherever you are, good day. Good day to all of you. Uh, this is Forward Live. I'm Derrick Day, and this podcast is all about how to help people with real practical solutions to real practical situations and problems that you encounter in the real world. No pie in the sky, no theoretical, no abstract or conceptual. This is real shit for real times. And that's what we do here. We're moving humanity forward at the speed of thought. And I'm out here in a glorious eastern Oklahoma afternoon enjoying my backyard. Um, it's not exactly set up yet. The shrubs haven't bloomed yet. The pool isn't open yet. You can look over my shoulder actually this way, and you can see my water slide because this is the end of the backyard. That's like a theme park, and and over this way, I actually have an outdoor kitchen, a full outdoor kitchen with a range, with a refrigerator, freezer, ice maker, and all of that. And over this way, I have my Zen garden where I go to sit and think in the nicer months of the year. But I just wanted to share that because I'm starting a teaching series, which is something I never did when I was a pastor. I never did preaching series, but I'm going to do a teaching series. And this teaching series is really all about, first of all, how to learn what it is you want, how to learn what it is you want. And the second part is how to get what you want. Because again, I'm saying this not from an abstract pie in the sky kind of thing. I'm talking about real shit. This is my life, right? This is my life, and this is I can say everything that I have in my life. I've gotten it or I've obtained it by applying these principles. And so if they work for me, they'll work for you. Granted, I'm going to say this. I say this all the time because there's no shame in my game. And I always say, fuck humility. But I, I'm a smart guy. I'm a pretty smart guy. But this is not for smart people. You follow what I'm saying? In other words, you don't necessarily have to be smart in order to get what you want. There are millions of people out here who are enjoying their best lives, and they are not the most quantifiably intelligent people, but they have something that you don't, and that's knowing what it is you want. So there's a book, and I'm going to highly recommend that all of you get this book. It's called NeuroWisdom, and it's by Mark Waldman and Chris Manning. This book is something that I call seminal. In other words, this is fundamental knowledge that if you get this, if you understand it at a fundamental level, this will change your life. Because what I'm going to start with in this series are what this book calls the four pillars of wealth. Four pillars of wealth. And they are as follows. Number one, motivation. Motivation. Number two, decision making. Decision making. Number three, creativity. Creativity. And last but not least, awareness. Now, if you've been with me for any amount of time, and if you follow Freology Friday with myself and Aaron Tomlinson, we've talked a lot about all of these different things, and I'm going to spend a lot of time on awareness because that is the big thing. But that's not what we're talking about today. Today, I'm talking about motivation. And motivation is there's another book, and I didn't bring it out here with me today, but it's called Start With Why by Simon Sinek. And this is another book that you need to get because most people don't understand their why. And if you don't understand your why, your who, what, when, where, and how will completely and utterly, abjectly fail. So, what is motivation? So, there are two kinds of motivation. There's intrinsic motivation, and there's extrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation are things like eating, sex, um, thirst, the base things that you need. It's like if you're thirsty, you desire water. If you're hungry, you deserve food, or you desire food. If you're horny, you desire sex. Okay. And all of these things, these are innate, intrinsic desires, right? And you have to understand desire, because desire is it is the underpinning of motivation. Because if you desire something, then that will motivate you to get it. For example, if you desire food, you're motivated in a way to what you're motivated to go out and get what is necessary to obtain food, right? So desire underpins motivation. And there was something that I thought about this, and this was something that was really profound to me, and it's this, that people talk about God, the universe, and all of this, and I really believe that the universe, it's an aggregate or collection, or a totality of consciousness and wisdom. And all of these things, basically the design, the prototype, the idea for everything that there is, exists already. The problem is that what we haven't tapped into this consciousness, and we don't understand how to go about getting it. So this is what this series is designed to do, because I wrote this down this morning, and coming out of my own meditation, and it's this, that you have access to all the universe can provide, but you only deserve, and hear me on this, you only deserve what you are willing to accept or tolerate. You have access to everything, but you only deserve. I'm not saying what you will get. I'm saying you only deserve what you're willing to tolerate or get. See, because this is the thing. A lot of people are willing to tolerate being stepped on, to being ignored, being oppressed, being disenfranchised. People are willing to tolerate this, and as a result, they don't get any more than they are willing to tolerate. But the instant that you have resolved in your mind that you're not going to take this shit anymore, that there is more for you, that you want more. Let me tell you something. I was raised as a child of a single mother in Detroit. Statistically, myself, my brother, and my sister, I'm talking about Shirley's kids. I'm not talking about all of Dickie's kids. It's a different story. But out of all of Shirley's kids, statistically, we were supposed to fail. We were supposed to be incarcerated, be baby daddies, whatever, right? And none of that happened. My mother raised 3 college educated professionals. And all of us, now all of our motivations were different, all of our desires were different, but we cultivated something. There was something that was innate in us, and we were able to tap into that and create an underpinning desire for a motivation to achieve. So that's why I said this is not rocket science. This is not something that you can't get. This is not something that's out of your reach. This is something that you absolutely, positively can do. So when you talk about motivation, there are two streams of motivation, if you will. It's what you call bottom up, which is again the intrinsic motivation, the desire for food, for water, for shelter, for sex. Those are things. But then there are top down motivations, and these are the things that emerge from your consciousness, from your frontal lobe. This is where dreaming comes in. This is where looking at things come in. This is where creativity comes in, and you begin to use this top down motivation to shape or create your reality. I mean, this is really powerful stuff. And again, what happens is that most people are not, their motivation is kind of out of sync because their desires are out of sync, and the desires are out of sync because they haven't learned what it is that they desire, what it is that they want, and they haven't determined what their why is. Why do I want this? Why do I want to change my life? The why makes all the difference. Okay? So this is really critical stuff. And when I think about motivation, I ask myself on a daily basis, what is it that's motivating me to get out of bed? Now, a lot of people will say, I'm motivated by my family, my spouse, my significant other, or my children, or my parents. And people have all of these external reasons, or it's to make money. All of these things are, they are wise, WHY apostrophe S, not wise, WISE. But they're not good whys, because your why must be internal. It must be intrinsic. See, for me, my why is to share what I have with the world, particularly people who have been oppressed, disenfranchised, who don't have a voice, so they don't feel like that they matter. To share this with them because I felt these ways. I've been through this. I've overcome this, and I want to help others do that. It's not my professional career. I have a stellar professional career, but that's not why I get out of bed every day. I have a beautiful wife and wonderful sons. They are not the reason I get out of bed every day. But this opportunity that I have to share with the world the things that I've experienced, the things that I've gone through, the things that have helped me overcome adversity, these are the things. This is my why. This is my internal flame. This is my pilot light. This is what gets my ignition going every single day. This is my motivation. Now, with this motivation, the underpinning desire for this is that when I see, listen, I'm going to tell you something really, and this is truthful. There are 12 people that I know in my life that I've helped achieve six-figure incomes. And some of them make more money than I do. Some of them have done vastly better than I have. I've helped two people become millionaires. I've actually been a millionaire once in my life. And so I know what it is to help. I know what it is to achieve. I know what it is to be motivated. And so for me, it's not enough for me to be motivated. It's not enough for me to achieve that. Listen, to me, that's not success. But when I can share it with you and you say, okay, Derrick, I'm going to take you up on your challenge. I'm going to listen to what you're saying. I'm going to apply this to my life. And then you come back to me and say, man, this made a difference. That is my motivation. That my desire is to see people succeed. Okay. Now, let me say this. One of the things I talked about determining what you want, because you can't be motivated for something. You can't be motivated for nothing. Let's put it that way. You have to have something that you're motivated for. So the first thing that you have to do is you have to get in touch with your why. Find out what is your why. What is it that's lighting the fire under your belly that makes you get out of bed, that gets you fired up every day? And tap into that. Once you understand your why, now you can start finding your underpinning top-down desires. Because see, our bottom-up desires are all very similar. We all want to eat. We all want to drink. We all want to reproduce. That's innate. But our top-down desires, finding out what it is that we want. And once you find out what you want, why you want it, now you can take that and use it as the raw material to build your reality. And once you start building this reality, listen, words have power, and words are undergirded or underpinned by thought. Thought is undergirded by motivation and desire. And watch this. A lot of us wind up suffering unnecessarily because we are motivated by negative desires. In other words, for example, fear. When you're motivated by fear, you will absolutely get what you're afraid of. Why? Because you will begin to construct that reality. But watch this. Worry is an investment in something that may or may not happen. And so if you live your life by worry, if you live your life by fear, then what happens is you basically create the reality that manifests the thing that you are afraid of. But and here's the thing, bad situations, bad circumstances, turn of events, these things happen. But if your why, if your desire, if your motivation is governed by something positive that you say to yourself, in spite of this fear, in spite of the negative circumstances that are coming my way, that I am going to persevere and prevail against these things. And when you make that decision, then you begin to reshape your reality in a positive sense. And once you have made that decision, you're reshaping your reality, you will start seeing results. And here's the thing, people will say, well, Derrick, that sounds like the law of attraction. The law of attraction doesn't work. Bullshit. It does. It absolutely does. And I can tell you this, right? Because if you say to yourself, why do I always wind up in abusive relationships? If you're living your life according to this question, then you will likely end up in abusive relationships because that is the reality that you're creating. But if you say to yourself that I deserve more than these abusive relationships that I've been involved in, and I will no longer tolerate being abused in a relationship, you begin to reshape your reality. And what will happen is that these abusive relationships that you used to attract, you will now repel because your thinking has changed. And because your thinking has changed, if you reverse engineer that, your motivation has changed. And if you reverse engineer that, you find that your desires have been changed. You are redoing the blueprint of your life. And as you redo this blueprint, it reshapes your reality. Because here's the thing, right? People think about life as something accidental. It isn't. It isn't. Life is absolutely the sum total of what you invest into it and what you practice in it. That's what life is. And there are people who meander through life accidentally and wonder why they can't get an intentional result. Listen, accidental effort will not produce an intentional reality. You have to change that thinking. And when you change that thinking, you basically, again, we're reverse engineering thinking to motivation and desires. And again, like I said earlier, that the universe is constantly making shit. It's producing the raw material for everything that we understand to be reality. But you will only deserve what you're willing to accept or tolerate. But watch this. You will get exactly what you deserve. But what you deserve is based on your desire. So if you deserve, or if you desire better, you'll deserve better. And when you deserve better, you will obtain and experience better. That's the key to this. I can't tell you how important all of this is, but I'm going to spend some time on this because, again, what I want to do, what my desire here is to do, is to help you find out, first of all, find out what it is you want. And number two, how do you go about getting what you want? Because again, for me, and this is me, and excuse me, allergies. Wow. Anyway, I live in a beautiful house. This is not a mansion by any stretch of the imagination, but this is something that absolutely fits the need or exceeds the need of everything that me and my family need. It exceeds our desires. But here's the thing: there's more that I want. There's more that I want. I would love nothing more than to be in a position to give this house away, to give it to someone else who's working toward something, seeing some greater manifestation in their lives. And if I can get to that point, well, let me say, not if I get to that point, when I get to that point, because the thing is I'm going to continuously achieve more. And I can prove this also because in my life, I have constantly seen my income improve, my relationships improve, my status in the community improve. It's been a steady progression of improvement. Why? Because I am unwilling to tolerate or accept a bad life. I absolutely deserve everything that I get because I changed my desires. And because my desires are higher, my level of what I deserve is higher, and my subsequent reward is greater. And this will work for you as well. Now, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up because I think I've been talking for about 20 minutes, and now the pollen is really starting to mess with me. um, but what I want each of you to do, first of all, if you get this book, and let me tell you this, right? Inbox me, and if you could tell me why, I'll give this book. I'll buy this book for 5 people. For 5 people, and and I'll send it to you. Um, if there's some compelling reason why you can't get it, you know, because not, but if you're already in a good financial position, you got good credit, all of that stuff, you can go out to Amazon, you can buy the book, buy the damn book. But if you're stuck, you have situations, circumstances beyond your control, inbox me, let me know. And the first 5 people that inbox me and let me know, I'll buy them the book. I'll buy them the book if you need the book. because I really think that you should have this book. The second thing is I want to know what is motivating you. What are your underpinning desires? Again, your bottom up desires, we all know what those are. What are your top down desires? What is it that you desire? Or are you struggling with desire? You don't know what you want. You don't know what your why is. If you don't know what your why is, inbox me, please. Let me help you work through how to find your why and how to find out what it is that you want. Because again, um, the universe will honor plans but not dreams. And basically, a plan is a dream with a blueprint, or a goal is a dream with a deadline. And if you need help in planning, setting goals, all of those things, I really want to help you. So inbox me and let me know, and I'll tell you how I help people achieve or understand their desires so that they can achieve their desires. Okay. Also, be sure to I shared my man Aaron Tomlinson's video. He was talking about the story of Cain and Abel and why it's really misunderstood. Aaron is a really fantastic metaphysical teacher. You need to go out, get connected with him, and also follow his teachings. Also, on Thursday nights, check out my man Jimmy Ligon. He's going to be on Facebook Live. He's doing the Atheist Connection with Unreligious, a show which I started, but I handed it over to him because he's way more passionate about it than I am, and he's going to be far more successful at it than I was. And finally, Freeology Friday. Make sure you check that out, where Aaron Tomlinson and we get together over drinks, and we talk about something that is absolutely meaningful, absolutely tangible, and absolutely repeatable every Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And Jimmy's show also is 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central. And Aaron goes live on Sundays at 11 a.m. Mountain Time. So those are the shows that we do. And also Daryl Carlson, Ben Urban, they'll be on Facebook Live probably tonight about 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So make sure you check those guys out also, because they do some fantastic teaching on metaphysics. And understand this, right? Metaphysics is something, is the science of making spirituality tangible, and I'm all about that. If you can make something measurable, tangible, repeatable, then great. That's or tangible, measurable, and repeatable, because I go by the acronym TMR. So if it's TMR, you can apply it. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I can't see the chat in Restream today for some reason, and so somebody here on Instagram is saying they have a family member who's become a Jehovah's Witness. You know, listen, they can't see it until they see it. That's all I can say about that. But for all of my friends on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, on Twitch, and everywhere else that we are, I want to thank you for attending my TED Talk. So until the next time, may you be happy, may you be well, may you be filled with peace. Y'all be good.